Hey, good evening. This is Tay Musselwhite with Kimberlite Digital Marketing with our Wednesday live stream. Thanking everyone for joining us. This week we're going to talk about a McKinsey article that I read recently, and there's a link at the end to that article, and it's called "The Revolution is Digital." And it talks about what has happened with the pandemic and how it's affecting operations and businesses. And I also want to delve into what that means for businesses and how it is going to interact uh, every business, and how I believe it's going to impact how every business needs to be communicating with customers. This also builds upon our last live stream about first party data. So let's jump into it. The first thing is, hey, the revolution is digital, and let's take a look at this article. So I'm breaking these out in further screens, but the first thing to think about is this is the industrial revolution in services, and there are four irreversible shifts that are transforming operations. Uh, the first is the rapid and extreme digitization. Number two is the ascent of contactless operations. Three is virtualization of workplaces. And four is the rise in alternative sources for talent. But I also, before we jump into that, let's look at the top piece of this also. So the industrial revolution in services, the four shifts. The pandemic really accelerated this. If you have, if you own a business or if you've been interacting with businesses, you've seen this happen where QR codes used to be one of those things that were really, really neat. And I even implemented at some restaurant clients before the pandemic. Now you can't go to a restaurant and not have your phone with you. I actually did that last week, trying to be on a date night without my phone. Same thing for my date. And we were both laughing because the menu required a QR code. We borrowed the server's phone. But take a look at this. So 60% of 60% of new remote sales models are equally as or more effective than traditional sales models. So 60%, 6 out of 10 remote sales models, so over Zoom or Teams or however you're connecting, are just as effective. Less than 65% of senior executives are stepping up in investment in automation and AI. So actually, let's just look at it as about 65%. And so think about that. Senior executives are thinking about automating things, and they're thinking about how AI can impact their operations. I was on a client call this morning or this afternoon where they were talking about what can we automate of these processes. And that's a company that is looking to be, as Wayne Gretzky used to say, be where the puck is going to be, not where it is. 70% of executives expect to use more temporary and contract workers. So think about that. That is adjusting to demand or finding specialized skills. Now, as a business owner, what does that mean? It means that I have to have very exact requirements, and also it's probably going to be harder to maintain that customer experience with a temporary worker. So definite consideration on the business owner side, just to maintain your brand. Someone who's a temporary worker is still representing your business. 75% of digital channel users expect to continue their usage even after the pandemic fades. So sure, we could be at the end of the pandemic. It certainly feels like that. It's summer here in the suburbs of Chicago and the Chicago metro. But these are entrenched things now. 75%, 3 out of 4 people expect that this is just how it's going to be. And then 85%, 8.5 out of 10 businesses accelerated use of technologies to enable digital employee collaboration. An example of this is I was interviewing someone for a position with my company, and the young lady had just graduated from college, and she just laughed and said, when I asked how we could meet, and she basically laughed and said, I'm a college student in 2022. I have a Zoom account, Teams, go to meeting, whatever you want. Um, so that's where things are right now. And it could be even FaceTime. So just think about how that is impacting your business and how it's going to continue to impact your business, and understand that that is just the expectation now. It's no longer a big deal to be able to have a video call. Moving on, let's take a look. These are the four, and I'm also going to break these out on the next slides just so we can read them better. But again, 4 irreversible shifts in services. So 4 irreversible shifts in services: rapid and extreme digitization, ascent of contactless operations, virtualization of workplaces, and rise in alternative sources for talent. Let's break them down. Here's the first one. Rapid and extreme digitization. If you're a business owner and you are not already looking at the problem and the solution of how to digitize your business, it's time. So getting into a system where you can collaborate, getting into a system where communication is very easy with your clients, and then making sure that it's end to end. So electronification to true digitization of end-to-end processes. So this is getting away from paper. This is making sure that someone can access whatever they need from you, whether it's an estimate, invoice, payment link, whatever, on their phone, anything like that. And we're going to talk about it in a moment, but it has to be personalized also. And ideally, it's contactless. Proliferation of data and analytics, forming new basis of service and operational agility. So the data and analytics, just like we talked about on our last stream about first party data, kind of what it is, who, what, where, when, why, and how. Data is exploding, and so are the ways to utilize it. And then it's becoming a basis of service. So, when you think about first party data, being able to surface it on a phone call and know that that person is number one of the highest spenders at your company, one of your best customers, know what your other agent talked to them about, and then know if they were a referral from another client. So that's just a quick example of the proliferation of data and analytics and how that's going to be the basis of service and operational agility. So agility meaning, hey, we see in our data this trend happening and we can act on it immediately, not with historical data, so looking backward, but real time, knowing exactly what's happening. And then, excuse me, the rise of disruptive tech accelerating the future norm for service delivery, like AI tools. If, like me, you deal with Google Ads, what you've seen recently is the proliferation of AI tools that are taking a lot of the complexity out of setting your bid strategies. So as long as you're able to go into your ad system, have the proper configuration, and have done the proper keyword research, Google's AI tools are getting stronger and stronger every day, so that they're taking a lot of that manual bid adjustment out of the process. Now, there's still a lot of science and art to that process, but it's becoming more and more AI driven. And that, to me, is one of the leaders in the space, showing us how that's going to develop, and bears close watching. Number 2, the ascent of contactless operations. A great example of this is with one of my restaurant clients. We set it up where we used a text marketing program that initiated a conversation and then even said, hey, are you wanting to come in store and order? Or, hey, guess what? We can give you an online ordering form. And then the last question after the order was complete is please tell us what kind of car you're driving, so that when they showed up for order pickup, we saw them, and or the restaurant did, but I worked very closely with them. So think of that contactless service. So it's personalized. They're interacting directly with the business. It is a conversation, but it's contactless operations. So it's a lasting shift to end-to-end contactless customer journey, redesign, and enhanced experience. So enhanced experience. Hyper-personalization through human and digital engagement. An example that we put together for one of our automotive detailing clients is based on the contact form that comes in, we then segment the data into our email marketing campaign and then send uh, structured responses that have already been pre-built, but they only send to what that prospective customer selected. So it's hyper personalized based on what they told us. And of course, we're saying, hey, Tay, here's here's what some information about your brand new, 2020 BMW X7, M50, I wish. Um, so we're personalizing, but it's based on what we're being told. We're extending that conversation and we're informing the customer. So it's hyper personalization through human and digital engagement. And then that's going to lead to new approaches to monetizing the next wave of commercial innovation. The amount of hours that detail shop uh, saves on their customer service team and experience team and sales team is immeasurable. Let me just tell you, the fact that they're still running about 4 sales reps, maybe 2 for 2 locations at one time, that they're still running that at the volume that they're doing in 2022 compared to the volume that they were at 5 years ago when we started working with them. I can't tell you how much that has saved them in operational costs and salaries. Not only that, but it's extremely valuable for their customers, and they're educating their customers to the ninth degree before anyone is ever having to pick up the phone and talk to them. So immeasurable benefits that impact the bottom line, profitability, and improved customer experience and personalization, all through contactless operations and integrations. Moving on, virtualization of workplaces. Another great example. We've all seen this happen. We've seen in the news, and if you're trying to hire someone, like while many people love the office and getting that face to face, there's almost no one who will sit there and tell you that they want to go back to the office 5 days a week and get back that, in my area, get back that hour and a half each way of commuting. People just aren't going to tell you that. Now, do leaders want it because that face-to-face is valuable, and are people getting together off-site somewhere? Are they scheduling time where, hey, we have our office, we're all going to use it? Absolutely. But that's the hybrid. So that reorganization of talent, shifting from work from home to optimization of hybrid workplace, remote flex on-site, tailored to function, level, and geography, supported by the right management science. So as we've probably seen, so I know I've seen of it, but I was going to say that as you've probably seen, it takes the right mix, and it's got to be the right person, it's got to be the right job. But there is a mix for everyone in that hybrid model or in person, remote, whatever it may be. But what I've also seen is the last line there, supported by the right management science. So management science in terms of the right systems and controls, management support, things like that. But specifically, the one that I use is the predictive index. And I have an all virtual remote company that has used the predictive index and all of the features, especially the design, which is teams and the employee engagement, to truly awaken their company. They're a fantastic company when they went into the process, and they are becoming an extraordinary company as they're working through the process. So that management science to help you understand your people, because now that we're all remote, that kind of water cooler or hey, let's go have lunch where you really get to know somebody, that is absent. So you have to do it in another way. Moving on. Again, on talent, number 4, the fourth shift, the rise in alternative sources for talent. So innovative approaches to talent marketplaces fueling the growth of the gig economy. This is providing flexibility to both the organization and to the individual contributor. And this signifies a shift from the traditional workforce composition, expanding into skilled talent pools. So think about that. It is skilled talent pools. So that gig economy, think of it like the old example of scaling a server, like when servers went virtual as opposed to in a cooled room in your office. One of the great points of leverage was, hey, you don't have to go buy and install a new server. We just scale it up for you. That's the same thing with skilled talent pools. The other thing is, like, I have another client who works as an outsource for medical billing for doctors and oncologists, things like that. The great thing about that skilled talent pool is that they know how to do exactly what they do. They know how to hire that exact person. They know how to manage that exact person. Whereas in a larger organization with a lot of moving parts, sometimes that can be a very hard balance to find. And that skilled talent pools, whether it be managed in-house and then finding that talent and managing them, or completely outsourcing specific niches of your business, I see that coming like a freight train. And it offers efficiencies, and it offers that specialized skill that allows you to retain that type of customer service, or perhaps even improve that customer service and customer experience that you have built your name on. Moving on, I just want to let you know, like, there's a lot here. I'm going to give you the link to this article at the end. This is obviously something that I'm extremely passionate about and can help you with. If nothing else, I'll be happy to have a 15-minute phone call. Just call me at 847-957-4249, and let me help you understand the problems that you're trying to solve as a business, and then offer solutions. May not be anything that I or my company can do, but what I will do is make sure that I point you in the right direction. So that's what I do. I help your business work for you. I make it work for you. And that's primarily through technology, it's through consulting, and it's through automation, and it's through integrations. Here is my contact info. My website is Digital Kimberlite. Our company is Kimberlite Digital Marketing. My email is tay@digitalkimberlite. Tay Musselwhite is on social media. That's MUSSLEWHITE. And call me, 847-957-4249. And last but not least, here is the link to that McKinsey article. They provide great content. I truly recommend subscribing to it. They have some great thinking, great content, and I don't believe you can go wrong by absorbing their content and trying to best gauge how to meet that puck where it's going to be, not where it is. With that, I'll leave you. Thank you very much for joining. Again, Tay Musselwhite from Kimberlite Digital Marketing. Please feel to reach out if I can help in any way. And even if that is just a 15-minute conversation, point you in the right direction and offer my best advice. All right, thanks again. Have a great evening.